Hi guys, today I'm going to do my December reading roundup. So I had a really good reading month in December. I read more than I normally would, as in a lot more. I read 5 books, and generally December is a very busy month for me. There's a lot of celebrations, birthdays, Christmas stuff, and it's just a really busy month that I generally do not read a lot in it. Maybe 1 book, maybe 2. But I managed to read 5 and I'm very proud of myself, and now I'm going to tell you what I thought of these books. The first book I read was The Goddess and the Thief by Essie. It's a historical fiction novel about a young girl called Alice who is uprooted from her home in India to be sent to live with her spiritualist medium aunt in England. And under the shroud of madness and mystery, a man called Mr. Tilsbury and the plot to steal a priceless Indian diamond enters her life. I quite enjoyed this novel. The writing was sound and the characters were interesting and vivid. There was quite a few twists and turns, and at each moment I was hoping that Alice would get out of this safely and in a happy place. I liked this novel, so I ended up giving it 3.5 stars out of 5. The next novel I read was The Lies of Lockemora by Lynch. This is the first book in the Gentlemen Bastards series. This is a fantasy novel about a group of thieves called the Gentlemen Bastards, headed by Lamora. Basically, they can disguise themselves as anything, from priests to nobles and everything in between, and they steal from the rich. But I can assure you, they are no Robin Hoods. But of course, everything cannot remain safe and sound. They end up caught in the middle of a bloody coup, and basically they have to scramble out and make a way to get out of this alive. This was a fantastic novel. I loved the world building. It was complex and interesting and vivid, and I just loved learning each and everything about the Gentlemen Bastards world. The writing is very good and the characters are vivid and interesting. I know I keep on using the word vivid, but I like this word, and I just couldn't help myself. I just loved it. Loved it, loved it, loved it. And you know what? I cannot wait to read the second book. So I'm not sure what to give it. It was either a 5 or a 4, so I'm going to go for a 4.5 out of 5 stars. The next novel I read was Geisha of Gion by Mineko Iwasaki. This is an autobiography, and for those who do not know the background, basically Mineko Iwasaki was one of the geisha interviewed for the very popular novel Memoirs of a Geisha by Arthur Golden. She was asked not to be acknowledged, but she ended up being acknowledged. There was a huge lawsuit, I forget who won, and she ended up publishing this little novel to tell the truth about the geisha community. Having read both novels now, I can say that I prefer Memoirs of a Geisha, mainly because I felt that it packed a lot more heart in it than this little novel Geisha of Gion. Although I felt that this one was brimming with a lot more information. Autobiography didn't have enough emotion for me. The writing was a bit cold and I couldn't really connect to the narrator. But despite all of this, there were some really good moments in this. I quite liked learning more about geishas, and you know what? I'm more excited to learn more in the future. Maybe some non-fiction books in the future. So I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. The next novel I read was Soulless by Gail Carriger. This is a steampunk fantasy novel about a half-Italian, scandalous, spinster called Alexia, who lives in Victorian times. Basically, Alexia has no soul, and because of this, she can influence other supernatural creatures, such as werewolves and vampires. But after accidentally killing a vampire, she ends up being at the middle of this mystery where people think that she's behind the disappearances of vampires and werewolves. Plus, there is romance. This was a fun, quick, easy read for me. There was plenty of cheesy moments that had me giggling. I love the world, I love the characters, and I definitely will be reading more in this series. So, definitely would recommend it. I gave it 3.5 stars out of 5. The last novel I read was The Rabbit-Back Literature Society by Pasi Ilmari. I cannot pronounce this, I'm sorry, it's Finnish. So I'm going to leave all the titles of the books that I'm referencing in the description box below. This is a novel about a literature teacher called Ella who is invited to join this very famous, very secretive society called the Rabbit-Back Literature Society. Society that is home to the best writers in Finland, headed by the very mysterious Laura White, the children's book author. But when she finally becomes a member, Laura White disappears and she is drawn to learn more about the society. What is its mysterious ritual? The game? Why are books rewriting themselves? And who was the last 10th member? And why does no one speak of him anymore? I really enjoyed this novel. It really is a mystery novel made just right for me. The characters were interesting and vivid. Again, vivid. It must be the word that I'm using today. The mystery is exciting to learn more about, and I just loved learning this all with the help of the protagonist Ella, who is a doll. I really like that character, and I wouldn't mind hanging out with her. I would definitely recommend this, and I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. So yeah, that was all the books I read in December. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a lovely day, and see ya.